Guys, today we're making a video about our 1-year review about ALT work, our expectations versus reality.
Yeah.
So a lot of you have come to Japan, or maybe they're about to come to Japan, I'm not too sure, but it's about that time, so we thought it'd be a good time to make a video about that.
Yeah.
And
Start us off.
alright. So probably the first thing you're probably thinking about is your workload, or like how much work you're gonna do. And that really depends on a couple of things. It depends on your school, it depends on if you're junior high school, it depends on if you're elementary school. We're gonna stick to just those two, so that's what we mainly did. But yeah, for example, I've been at 2 junior high schools. The workload for junior high schools has been about the same at my schools. There's not much to do. Like I don't create worksheets for every class or anything like that. One school I did create more activities like games for like 5 or 10 minutes here or there to kind of get the kids excited, warmed up for class. So I would go to every class like once a week. So like let's say for first years there's 4 classes, so I would go to that first class Monday. So I went to all my first years on one day, but I wouldn't see them again until the following Monday. So since I'm only there once a week, I might be at the whole school the full week, but I might only be in the class once a week. So I kind of just do something fun because I'm there like for a special time.
Yeah, I think something that maybe I didn't realize right away is that the kids like look at your class as like the fun class, because maybe that day they don't expect to be, doing like drills and like maybe they repeat, but maybe they don't expect to be doing like boring bookwork. They expect at least like a fun activity. I think especially if they're first years, because they just got out of elementary school and they might have had an ALT in elementary school that was doing games and fun things like that. So they view your class as like the fun like break.
Yeah. So, but that's not every week. If anything, if I'd be lucky for one class a month to do a fun activity for that, because the teachers of course have a schedule and they have to stay on that to meet their lesson plans.
Yeah, and fun activities often take longer.
What about your workload like?
Yes. I didn't know, of course, when I first got here, I wasn't sure if I was going to get junior high school or elementary school, but I'd requested junior high school. For junior high school, like all my opinions were kind of influenced by what he had experienced. I expected to be like an assistant in junior high school and just kind of follow the teacher and do what she or he wanted. Usually it was just like working on pronunciation and things like that. So that's what I expected. And for elementary school, I expected to kind of be more the main teacher, because I think in elementary school there isn't like a main English teacher. It's like a homeroom teacher. And just like elementary school, there's like a teacher. And then just kind of you do most of the work and they like help you with just the general like maintaining the classroom like in order type thing. So that's what I expected.
Yeah, for elementary, you definitely are the main teacher. You have to be prepared for every class that you go to. Yeah. Of course, our company gives us like a textbook to kind of help you get along per class, like to have like a lesson plan, I guess you could say. So
yeah.
And junior high? How was your junior high?
Oh, like the reality. I got one junior high school, and it's good. The workload is definitely like bigger than most people's junior high schools, and that sounds bad, but it just means that at my school they were very open about like what I wanted to do, about like trying worksheets, about trying listening activities, trying different games and things that were long, things that were short. So my workload was heavy, so it seems negative, but at the same time I was doing a lot and my input was high.
Yeah, so her input was high. Don't take heavy or a lot of workload as a negative thing. If anything, just think of it as normal work back in your country,
Yeah.
She pretty much had a normal job.
Right.
For me, it was a normal job, but less workload for me. So for me, I had one of the things I had to do was to kind of look busy. So I would bring Japanese material to study, or I would have a book and I would read, during my off class. But she had prep for almost all other classes, so she didn't really have to worry about keeping busy.
Yeah, at least not at first. At first, I didn't really have so much time to study because I was new to it. I didn't have as many ideas as I probably should have had, and I didn't pay so much attention in training. I should pay attention in training.
Yeah.
But so I guess I didn't also know like there's so many resources online and stuff like that. So I was making all my worksheets from scratch and like all that, those sort of things, and kind of like trying to create my own ideas, and sometimes that's very difficult, especially when like the class is tomorrow and you have no ideas.
Yeah, and one of the problems also that she told me about, I remember, is that she really wouldn't know what the lesson was about, but she had to come up with the lesson like last minute, almost really quickly. So early on, I remember she would take a lot of her work back to her apartment with her.
Yeah.
And for junior high, we really don't do that. Elementary, you do, because the following day, if you have elementary, you have to prepare for that,
Right.
So that was one thing that I was a little bit surprised on her behalf, because I never did that.
Yeah, I think also at my school, maybe it's different at other schools, I didn't have like a school computer. I would take my computer, but I couldn't access the internet of my computer. It's like a rule, like you can't have like the password. So if I needed to like find images or find different, like do some like a little bit of research or something like that, I had to do that like on my phone. And so sometimes I would do as much as the prep work that I could do at school, and then like take notes on like the pictures that I needed to find, the clip art and things like that, and then go home and then like paste that all in or do whatever I needed to do to make flashcards or something like that.
Yeah. And just to keep you guys a heads up, most of her stuff I've never heard anyone else say. Like she probably has the class or the school that makes her do the most. So expect hers to be more of the extreme thing, I believe. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Like, let's speaking to other people that we know.
Right. In my city, we have ALT meetings every Monday, so I get to talk to all the ALTs in my city consistently. And all the other people in junior high school, they kind of have the same account as Raf does, which is their workload is very little. I think the big thing that people say is that they're human tape recorders or whatever. So
Yeah.
they just like go in and they read the text and the kids repeat. But yeah, I mean, it was very rewarding. I probably grew more than I would have grown if I was in a different junior high school.
Yeah. So we kind of put we talked about our workloads, our inputs, expectations versus realities. The next thing we're going to talk about are more of the students, and I'll let you start this one.
Yeah, well, I guess I knew that the kids would be shy at first, but I didn't expect it to take so long, like them to be so scared to like come up to me, because I thought, well, they've had ALTs in the past, they'll be excited to have someone new, and they'll open up, but it took a while. It took a while. I think like for my students, maybe they were feeling it inside, but they were still shy on the outside. But it took probably like 6 months. I mean, it was after summer vacation that they kind of became more comfortable with me, which is really sad because by then, you're over halfway through the year. The third-year students are gonna start
Cracking down on their studies to get
Right.
ready to graduate and stuff.
right. So they won't, even if they want to like talk with you, they won't maybe have time to stop and chat and things like that. So I didn't expect it to take so long. I didn't expect them to be so shy. I mean, I don't know. Are kids back home that shy?
I don't know. I feel like they're not.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like from the American perspective, we're really more out there. We want to meet more people for more of a general, not 100%, but more of a general people. More.
Like we're curious.
Yeah, we're more curious. Here, people are curious, but they kind of give you like the side eye, like the students or a lot of the older people, in the country.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are very shy. Of course, it varies. You're gonna find some kids who are really excited, to try to speak with you, and they'll
Yeah,
come up to you
that's
right
true.
away. And with those kids, I'll speak with them. If they make mistakes, I try not to discourage them or anything. I'll answer the question, even if it's given to me incorrectly.
Yeah. You have to be very lenient. Like you can't always, especially when they're like coming up to you in the hallway, like you can't focus on like the little tiny details because they've already made it past the first like obstacle, which is like having the courage to talk to you.
Yeah. So and you'll get a lot of the questions the same over and over at the beginning, but later on you'll start having like natural conversations and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and it's really rewarding when that starts to happen.
Yeah. I remember once I had a flat tire. Oh, no, my brakes weren't working on my bike, and I asked this group of girls like, "Hey, where can I get my bike fixed?" And one girl, I would say it, and then one girl would speak with them. It's like, "Did he just ask us this in English?"
Yeah, they always have a conference, like a
Yeah.
little
It's like, "Yeah, I think he did," and then it'd be like, "All right." I would hear them say the answer in Japanese, but then they're gonna come out with it in English, and I would wait for it, and I was like, "Oh, thank you," and I would get the answer, and then I would leave, and then the English teacher would come up to me and just say, I heard your bike's having issues from these girls. Like, yeah. It's like, yeah, I could hear them, like, giggling, really excited to have, like, a conversation with you or something.
Yeah, they get really excited. I think it really boosts their confidence when they're able to communicate with you.
Yeah. So that's really what we're there as ALTs, to really throw the textbooks out, and we're gonna be the real conversation, you know.
Yeah, the life experience.
The life experience. So
Yeah.
students are gonna be really shy at first. Don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll warm up to you eventually. For her, it took a lot longer, I think.
Yeah, which... Oh, sorry.
I would say I spoke Japanese, so you'll notice some kids don't do any English in class at all. Like, they're just not gonna do it. Like, they don't even write their names or anything sometimes.
Yeah.
So since I speak Japanese, I would speak with the kids right away, kind of like, hey, this is who I am. You know, this is what I like, kind of thing. You know, hey, just come talk to me whenever. You know, and I'll speak English, I'll speak Japanese, I'll do both. You know.
Yeah.
And then.
For me, when I first got here, I just hardly knew any Japanese. I mean, I remember first getting here, I didn't even know the word for eat. Like, I didn't know any of that. Now I know some Japanese, but at first, like, you only get the bold kids that come talk to you, and there are not that many of those kids. And there are some students that even now, like, I'll ask them if they like English, and they say no, and I ask why, and in Japanese, they'll say that they don't understand. Yeah, so he probably makes it further, which I think I was going to say this before, which is so strange because at my school, I'm in junior high school, I eat, or I would eat lunch with the students, and in junior high school, I didn't know this, people don't usually eat, the ALTs won't eat with the students.
It varies.
Yeah.
Junior high school, yeah, I've never really eaten with my students.
Yeah.
Elementary school, I eat with my students all the time. In junior high school, I'll occasionally eat with my special education students, but that's about
I
it.
see. I remember a couple weeks ago, maybe like a couple months ago, I mentioned it in the meetings that I said that we have on Mondays about how I eat with my students, and everyone was just like, everyone's head just like turned to look at me, and they're like, they let you eat with the students? What? Like nobody had done that before.
Yeah.
And so I guess I had more.
Do you enjoy it?
Yes, eating with my students was great. If you're in junior high school and you can do it, just ask if you can do it. I'm sure they'll let you do it. They are very non-confrontational, so they probably don't know how to say no. But it's really great because you get to talk with the students, and like while you are forcing them a little bit, they gain confidence, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, she was forcing them, but she shouldn't feel bad because early on she really didn't speak much Japanese at all. So, it was a real.
It was tough.
A real conversation challenge for them.
Yeah.
And her, I guess. All right, and the last thing, it's gonna be just some like final tidbits or whatever. Expectations. Going to school in the States, we never really had Saturday school at all. So being a teacher over here, we find out the teachers and the students go to school 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But they're not having classes 7 days a
Right.
week. Saturday and Sunday they don't have classes. It's more like sports activities or volunteer cleanup or something like that.
Yeah.
But occasionally we would have to go to school on Saturdays. For like a sports day or parent-teacher day or something like that.
Culture day.
Yeah. So we have to go to school Saturday, but we'll make it up. We'll get the following Monday or Tuesday off.
Yeah.
So that's how they kind of make it up. But I was just a little surprised about having to go to school on a Saturday.
Yeah. I wasn't because the students are just doing sports practice. So that kind of makes sense. I mean, back home, did some people have like sports practice on Saturdays, like Saturday practice? Was that a thing?
Only
You did a lot of sports.
At high school, I would games on Saturday, but not practice on Saturdays.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess it felt like it seemed reasonable. I thought, okay, so they practice. I mean, they don't practice all day. They'll practice till like lunchtime, and then go home. So I don't know. That felt like it didn't surprise me as much as maybe it could have. I guess.
Yeah, you'll notice like the extracurricular activities at these schools are like really top notch. So,
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, they're.
Dedication is real.
Yeah. Teachers have it hard here.
Yeah, I
Because the
do feel bad
teachers
for my
are the
teachers.
teachers and there are the sports like coaches, so
Yeah.
they're here like all the time.
Yes, and you'll see these students. They practice before school, they practice after school, and they practice on Saturdays, and then so they'll have games on Sundays.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So like so the students have to be there, but the teachers have to be there too.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
That's probably one expectation I didn't know, that students and teachers are really at school all the time.
Yeah, it's like the school year never ends. The longest break is summer vacation, and that doesn't divide the school years like it does back home. So school starts in April and ends in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their summer break is more like an idea of a spring break for us. Like they're gone, but they come back. It's still the same school year.
Yeah.
And another expectation, reality, for you, the last one.
Yes, something that I didn't expect when I first got here. I didn't expect to feel so lonely in school. I've always been a social person, so I just kind of got along with everybody, and I talk a lot. So I thought, I don't know so much Japanese, but that's not a big deal. I won't mind. I won't mind sitting and like doing my work and kind of being passive about it. But it's really difficult when you're in like the staff room or you're in class, and there's so much Japanese, of course, and the culture is different, and everything's going on around you, and there's lunch, and then there's assemblies, and you don't understand like 99% of it, and it's just very difficult. It's very overwhelming at first. Yeah. Even now, I do know more Japanese now. I'm really nosy, so I like to listen in on my teachers' conversations to see if I understand anything. Now I pick up like 40% of what they say, but even that's exaggerating a little bit. So it just, even the teachers will be scared to talk to you, and they're busy, and then they could be shy to talk to you. So it's like a very small window that they feel like the courage and that there's time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it can be very lonely work.
Maybe that's a good topic we can make a video more about later on, like how to cope with it or something.
Yeah, I know that because like I said, I have Monday ALT meetings. A lot of people will feel lonely because no one will talk to you and you don't understand anything that's going on.
Yeah, so on the other side, when we would meet up with our ALT friends, it was like the most fun. Like we could really almost like complain about work. Like everyone complains about work, but it was just like we can complain, we can talk, we can kind of just let it all out kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun when you do get to meet with your other friends.
Yeah, but you can talk to.
I guess I was lonely, but in a different way when I first came to Japan. I loved going to work. I liked the school, I liked the students. I had a lot of fun. But then I would leave school and I would be home, from 4:30, 5 o'clock, or whatever, till midnight, all by myself, Yeah. So that for me was more lonely, like not having anyone to talk to. Or anyone to like see, so that was more harder for me. So I really bonded with my first school more so than this one, just because they kind of became more of my family. Like I was at school from like almost 8 to 5, and then sometimes I was there really like 8 to 8, so 12 hours. So I would see my students all the time, my teachers all the time. I really liked playing tennis. I was near the school, so I would go every once in a while on a Saturday to play or to watch them have a match. So. For me, I wasn't as lonely as she was. I think she was more lonely just because of the language barrier. Like, communication really hindered the ability to bond and not, kind of build friendships.
Yeah.
But, she was here for a full year, and I think the loneliness kind of went down the longer you stay.
Yeah, it fades. I guess for me, eventually I got used to it. Also, the teachers are very, very nice. Like, they will, if you can manage to communicate with them, they'll help you if you need help. Like they will try, so they're very, very friendly, and I feel very lucky that the teachers at my school are so friendly. So it does fade, or you just kind of get used to it. But it was tough at first.
Yeah, but yeah, those are just some of the things we could think of right now for expectations versus realities. Yeah. If you have been in ALT, what was some of the things that you saw, overcame, or
struggled with? Didn't like it.
If you guys are about to start school, what are some of your expectations that you're thinking about you might see or might need to overcome?
Yeah, or concerns, post, like if you have questions about something that we didn't talk about that you're concerned about.
Yeah, if we see something, we'll let you guys know what we thought about it if we did encounter that issue also.
Yeah.
But that's it for today. Sorry we haven't posted in a while. We've kind of been meh.
And sorry that this one's so long. It's like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.